You want to know something? Recording videos for YouTube can kind of blow sometimes, especially when you mess up twice while doing it. Thank you for tuning in and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Drydek. I do videos about different Diablo 1, Diablo 2, and World of Warcraft mods. If any of that sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing below, so there'll be many more videos in the future. Alright, what is going on, guys? I am back for yet another build guide video, this time going over the multi-shot hunter that I'm currently using right now to progress heroic raids. This build primarily focuses on increasing a percentage physical damage as much as you can through talents and REs, supporting your multi-shot to make it do as much damage as we possibly can. I will break this video down into smaller parts, going over the gear, the REs, the talents, and giving you a small gameplay demo of the rotation and things you need to look for if you're picking this build up for the first time. There will be timestamps down in the description of the video for you to reference later, and at the end I will leave a sped up version of the 5-minute patchwork test I used for this video. Let's go ahead and jump in, guys. Let's go over the gear that I'm using currently on this guy for this video. We have Demon Stalker Great Helm, Worgen Claw Necklace, Demon Stalker Shoulder Guards, Blood Knight Warcloak, Chest Guard of the Conniver, Stalker's Warbands, Big Bad Wolf's Paw, Emerald Ripper, Wrath Tide Longbow supported by Mysterious Arrows, Dragon Spine Trophy, Hourglass of the Unraveler, Ring of Reciprocity, Ring of the Recalcitrant, Boots of the Endless Hunt, Demon Stalker Greaves, Grond Stitch Girdles, and Demon Stalker Gauntlets. The REs we use for this character are as follows. The legendary is Compound Power. The reason we use this is so the Slice and Dice now affects your ranged attack speed. This is a very big part of this build as well. The other main focus of this build is the Focus Burst RE. Your multi-shot now fires all its projectiles on the same target. The first hit deals 20% reduced damage, and the damage is reduced by another 10% for each shot fired. This is the other main core part of this build. The other two epic REs we use are Deadly Aim and Just Warming Up. The blue REs we use for this build are Multi-Shot to add more projectiles to our multi-shot, Master Tactician, Mortal Shots just for a little bit extra crit damage, Intensify Rage to reduce the cooldowns even further, and the Barrage just for a flat damage on your multi-shot and aim shot. Let's go over the talent tree that I am currently using, starting over here in the Hunter. We have 5 points into Improved Aspect of the Hawk, 5 points into Serpent Swiftness. The spells we take are Aspect of the Hawk and Tame Beast. The best beast you can use right now are Ferocious Beasts, so look to get one of those. Over in the Marksmanship, take 3 points into Careful Aim, 3 points into Mortal Shots, 1 point into Aim Shot, 3 points into Barrage, 3 points into Improved Barrage, 3 points into Piercing Shots, 5 points into Marked for Death. The spells we take here are Hunter's Mark, Auto Shot, Rapid Fire, Multi-Shot, and Steady Shot. Over in the Survival tree, we take Disengage and Feign Death. With the change to Misdirect, most hunters don't need this anymore. You can use it if you want to redirect your threat onto a healer, but if you're doing this strictly for threat on your tank, usually allow the highest DPS hunter in your raid to do so. This is a flex point for this build. If you want to take it, feel free. The talents we take here are Expose Weakness, 3 points into Thrill of the Hunt, 3 points into Master Tactician, 3 points into Sniper Training, and 1 point into Explosive Shot. Over into the Rogue tree, we take 3 points into Cut to the Chase, 1 point into Hunger for Blood. The spells we take here are Slice and Dice and Poisons. Over in the Subtlety tree, we take 3 points into Honor Among Thieves. The other major part of this build is actually over here in the Warrior tree. We take the Enrage to get the Capstone bonus. The reason we do this is because every time we cast Blood Rage or Berserker Rage, we get the 10% physical damage buff, and we look to decrease the cooldown of those two abilities as much as possible. So we take 5 points into Enrage, 1 point into Death Wish, 3 points into Intensify Rage, 1 point into Rampage. You can get rid of this if someone else in your party has it, and you can look to pick up a different buff for your raid if you like. I usually just carry Rampage just in case. The spells we take here are Berserker Stance, Berserker's Rage, and over in the protection tree, we take Blood Rage. The other couple points we take are 1 point into Life Tap, just for some extra mana gain during the fights. And over in Shaman, we take Rockbiter Weapon for the increase to attack power for our build. Unlike many of my other build guides, I've actually left 8 ability essences open for those who need a little bit extra in their build. If you need some more mobility because you're not too sure of where to stand during fights, you can pick up Blink. If you need a couple immunities, you can pick up things like Ice Block and Paladin Shield. So use these 8 ability essences for what you need during your raid. All right, guys, so with the talents, REs, and gear taken care of, let's go ahead and give you an informal crash course on how to play this character before showing you the patchwork test at the end of the video. We look to utilize the Slice and Dice as much as we can, and looking to use the procs of Deadly Aim on this character as much as you can. It is a prio-based DPS rotation. What you want to do is keep your 5 stacks of just warming up by using Explosive Shot pretty much on cooldown. It has a 5-second cooldown, typically with the GCD and lag from the server. So anytime this is up, you want to use it as often as you can, because you don't want to let that 10% damage drop. With the nerf to Slice and Dice, Compound Power is a little bit weaker. You still want to try to use the procs because you do get some damage off it, but basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to leverage as many physical percent plus modifiers as you can to increase your multi-shot damage as much as possible. The way that I start a fight usually is with Compound Shot. That will start the just warming up stacks and give me a combo point on the target to then use my Slice and Dice, which then I refresh with my Compound Shot. So I'm going to show you guys how I start the pull. Make sure my pet is on defensive here, and I'm going to start with an Explosive Shot leading into a Slice and Dice. Here we go. Explosive Shot, Slice and Dice, multi-shot, Compound Power, Explosive Shot. And then at this point, I use a Blood Rage and pop my cooldowns. Now, normally we will Lust on pull, and I don't use my Rapid Fire because it doesn't stack with it. So you want to save that for later. So I'll just give you guys about a minute, maybe a minute and a half of me actually going through the rotation. Every time Explosive Shot's up, I want to use it. My Compound Power just procced, so I want to use that. Back to Explosive Shot. And anytime your Enrage buff drops, you want to use either Blood Rage or Berserker's, or Blood Rage, excuse me. Try to stack Hunger for Blood and your Enrage with your multi-shot to make it do a ton more damage. Don't let that go. It's actually better to delay your damage just slightly to get that extra global cooldown of Hunger for Blood. It does make that big of a difference. Multi-shot when we can. Explosive Shot on cooldown. Use my Berserker Rage to increase the Compound Power. Explosive Shot and multi-shot. All right, let's pull him back. Go ahead and feign death here. So that is the basics of the build. You want to try to prio those abilities as best as you can. Stack as many percent physical modifiers up as you can to increase your multi-shot and Compound Power as high as possible. Use your cooldowns appropriately and keep that Explosive Shot up on the target for maximum amounts of DPS, all right? I'm going to leave you guys with the patchwork test, and then I'm going to give you a couple closing thoughts at the end of that. Enjoy. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that patchwork test. Now, I know a lot of people watch these videos and have this assumption like, oh, he's just, he's doing all the damage because it's a dummy and it doesn't move. Well, I can tell you from personal experience, even on fights where I have to move quite a lot, even like Maiden in Heroic and to a lesser extent Gruul, there are certain fights that allow you to really stand still and blast. Like Shade of Iran in Heroic, you can easily push up to 8k, maybe 9k if you really like pay attention. And you have to understand, this is still with the Heroic dungeon bow. With the dawning of mythics coming out, depending on how many item levels they increase this bow, the mythic version of this bow honestly might rival the power of even a heroic Sun Fury bow from Prince. Now, if I were to get a heroic Sun Fury bow from Prince, I could easily push 12k with this build, possibly even 13k, given perfect circumstances. So I understand that 10k is quite a lot to a lot of people, but when you are in heroic based gear and your raid is extremely tuned and you have every buff and debuff possible and you push as hard as you can, 10k is easily obtainable. I would imagine with this setup, even in pre-raid gear, including this bow and some other stuff from badge vendors and certain heroic pieces, you could probably push 6 to 7k in mostly blue gear. So this build's extremely powerful. It does take a little bit of practice to get, but just keep working on it, guys. I promise you, once you get the rotation down and you practice enough with this, it will become second nature to you. Obviously, perfect key bindings and some weak auras would help a lot. Even if you click your abilities, this build is still going to do really, really good. If you've made it this far, I want to personally thank you. I really do appreciate you guys watching these videos. I will be back with another video soon, hopefully. Until then, enjoy your night, guys. Bye-bye.